panelists for their bravery and for this great discussion. Mr. Turkle, when we were holding 22 Uyghurs at Guantanamo, none of whom had any known anti-American sentiment, you were probably the most vocal advocate for their release. We also saw in the documents leaked to the New York Times last year that one of the things President Xi said was that he wanted to emulate America's war on terror tactics. Can you tell us your perspective on the relationship between how Xi justifies the atrocities against the Uyghurs and the global phenomenon of Islamophobia?
No country treats the Muslims the way that China treats the Uyghurs around the world. I mean, arguably there are other Canada countries, but there's nothing even comparable. Islamophobia is a hallmark of their Chinese policies. And also, I have to note this, this is not the first time that I'm testifying and making this comment. I think it was a mistake for the United States government in 2002, 2003, designating this obscure organization, East Turkestan Islamic Movement, as a terrorist organization. That paved the way for this comfortable labeling Uyghurs as a terrorist. The US State Department last year revoked that decision, but the damage is already done. Even surprisingly, in the Uyghur dictionary, the word terrorism or terrorist does not even exist. The Uyghurs probably the most pacified Muslims that you can find on the face of the earth. And yet, because of the anti-Muslim sentiment around the world and the mistakes made by some Western governments in Europe and here at home, the Chinese opportunistically using it for advancing its propaganda campaign. It's working, unfortunately.
Really appreciate that. I've been raising that concern, how war on terror has justified atrocities being committed against Muslims throughout the world. I also wanted to ask you about something I think we both find atrocious, which is the number of U.S. companies and individuals who are profiting off of atrocities against the Uyghurs. Can you tell us about Erik Prince's contract in the Uyghur region?
This question to me, directed to me or professional?
Yes.
I was somewhat dumbfounded that Erik Prince acknowledged in his conversation with Mehdi Hassan on Al Jazeera that he is training the police academy or the police force. And now it's becoming a criminal activity because we have, as a country, added 48, the entire police department in the Uyghur region to the entity list, including this one credited in the movie Mulan for their assistance. So it's unconscionable, and this is initially started in Hong Kong, and now reportedly expanded to training police force in the Uyghur region. So this is something that Congress and law enforcement need to look into.
Really appreciate that. And I wanted to ask Ms. Sia Wudu how she would respond to people, and I know I could ask all the panelists this question, but to the people who say that, the atrocities that are being committed against the Uyghurs, it's sort of a propaganda and it doesn't really exist. It's not something that is happening. I get called out often every time I speak about the atrocities that are happening to the Uyghurs. Can you respond to those people who don't believe what happened to you is a real thing?
Tursunay xanımға sual. Siz Uyg'urlarga ilib berilib ishlarni yolg'on deydigan odamlarga qanday deb javob berasiz? Nima deysiz? Yolg'on deb chiqsa.
Çokum u çağda bunçalar iniq paketlarni hozir bilmaydi demayman, men iniq biladi. Bizni emas, butun dunyoda hozir bilmaydigan odam qolmadi desam bo'ldi. haqiqiy bir po'latdek paketmi bor, hozir ko'rib turib, buning ko'zini yummagan odam cho'qim o Xitoy bilan yoki savdo munosabati bor, yoki Xitoyga munosabatlik bir ish qilib o'zining boshqa taraflik bir o'z tarafini o'ylagan bir odam bo'lmasa, uningdan boshqasini hammasi buning ko'z yummaydi. Haqiqiy inson o'zining vijdoni bilan bir inson bo'lsa, yurkun tutib turib o'lsa, insonga yordam beradigan odam unda o'ylamaydi deb o'ylayman. U yerda faqat Uyg'urlar emas, Uyg'urlar o'shmanlik qilganlar desa, lekin u yerda Uyg'ur, Qozoq har qanday millatlar bo'lib musulmon dindagi millatlarning hammasi Qozoq bo'lsin, Qirg'iz bo'lsin, O'zbek bo'lsin, ashtaq millatlar bor. Hammasi bor ashlarning bir Xitoy millatidan boshqasi. Buning ichida bir Xitoy millati yo'q. Shunga bu Xitoy hukumatining maxsus ashtaq qartilgan bir ishi musulmonlar deb o'ylayman. Buning ko'z yumgan cho'qim ashtaq bir bo'lmasa, uningdan boshqa men bunga boshqa hech nima deyolmayman. Shundaqla bo'lmasa, uningdan boshqa odam ko'z yumolmaydigan darajada bu Uyg'ur.
There are clear facts, and it's not just us who knows this, it's everyone in the world who knows what's going on. These facts are strong like steel, and anyone who says otherwise is closing their eyes. Maybe they have some sort of relationship with China, maybe they're thinking about something else, but no one who is thinking about humanity from the perspective of a human would actually think this. You know, this is something that's being enacted on Uyghurs, on Kazakhs, on people of all ethnic backgrounds, mostly Muslim, you know, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, all of them, although there is not one Han person among the people being targeted in this way. And these actions are specially being taken against them. So people have closed their eyes. I can't say much other than that.
I know I'm out of time, but I wanted to say I agree, and I know that it's not comfortable being asked that question, but I think it is important that we do remind people that this is something that's real, that's happening, and that our inability to recognize and hear people who are bearing witness will allow for this atrocity to continue and this genocide to take place while the whole world watches. So thank you for your bravery, and thank you all for coming here today and shedding light into this. Really appreciate it. I yield back.
Thank